Hi, everyone. We are back for our second live of the day.
Yay!
Yay. Yes. We had Lisa's live a couple hours ago, and I am creating a cute vase.
I love that.
And
Love that.
I love decoupage.
Love that.
I don't do it nearly enough.
Yeah, I know, me either.
I think 2 years ago I taught a workshop and it included decoupage. I mean, it is just so much fun. So
It
that's
really is.
what I'm doing today. I thought I'd grab out some of my napkins because I collect napkins. Way too many of them. I look for them every time I go in a store.
We have way too many of everything. Not just napkins, just everything.
I know. I know. I'm getting better at that. I am cleaning and decluttering. Well, my stuff isn't cluttered. My stuff's very organized, but I am going through things.
You're
So
de-stashing your stash.
a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. So I'm sure all of you have decoupaged and have your favorite methods and all the things. I am showing you how I do it on glass. And you may do it differently and your way might work perfectly.
I love
And if you have
glass.
another way, put it in the comments so we know. Lisa will be watching the comments and we'll talk about them at the end. But
I stamp on mulberry paper is one of my favorites, where I'll stamp on my mulberry paper and then
yep,
I'll decoupage that onto a glass vase or something. That's my favorite to do.
that is a great way to do it. I
Yeah.
love Isabel said I have to keep destashing just to give myself space.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you on that, Isabel.
Oh.
I hear you on that.
Okay. Tink, since you're organized, Anne, what do you use for small beads or the diamonds from diamond dotting? I do not do
um,
diamond dotting, but small beads.
you know what works great for small ones?
Hmm.
If you go into, I don't know if the regular stores have them, but like sports stores
Mm-hmm.
where they have stuff for bait and not
Oh,
bait, but
tackle,
hooks and all of that, and they're little
fishing
tiny
tackle.
things, and yeah, those are perfect for small beads.
Yes,
That's how
tackle
I have
boxes.
all of my moms. And
Well,
a lot.
up there. When I put my camera down, I'll let Lisa talk for a minute. I'll show you. I have containers that keep small beads in, and you can buy them. I used to buy them at Joann's, but Joann's is no longer here. But I'm sure you can find them, and it keeps everything organized. So I'll
Yeah.
grab that. I'll show it to you, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, sounds
And
like
I
a
love
plan.
when you ask questions, guys. So I'm
Yeah.
going to switch my camera so I can grab
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And
You do that. And in the meantime, I'll chat.
you can chat. You can tell
So,
them how to
hi,
enter for this
Laura Lee. Yes, hi,
giveaway.
Laura Lee. Hi, Kelly. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. I love those papers, Anne. Oh my goodness.
I love papers.
They
Well,
are
they're
beautiful. Oh, that's right. Napkins. What am I thinking? Yeah, napkins. I love those. Oh, Tic Tac containers. That's another great idea, Becca.
What did she say?
Tic Tac containers.
Oh yeah, those would work
Those are
great.
perfect for little tiny beads. Yeah. I just have these little drawers, but the drawers are only like this big, right? So they're tiny, maybe 3 by 3, if that. Probably more like 2 by 2. And the ones I have are longer, so they would be 2 inches wide by say 4 inches deep, and they come in a little, a little shelf units. I don't know what else to call it, and they just go in there. And I have my mom was a huge beader, so when she passed, I inherited all of her beads, and my mama had a lot of beads.
Okay, so I grabbed some things to show you, Christine.
All right.
And everybody else.
All right, I'm out.
So some beads I keep in an organizer like this. And this one's really cool. I know I bought it at Joann's. It has a ruler up here. And these are alphabet beads. So I have A, B, C, I have them according to what the letter is. This works very cool. And this is similar to like the fishing tackle boxes that Lisa was talking about. So I can organize this way, and these are all my 2 beads. Well, they're not all of them, but some of them. But my favorite way, and I was playing with the grandkids, so I don't have it right here, but these containers. This one has glitter in it, but I like it because there's a container, and I think it comes with like 25 or 30 little tiny jars. So I do have some that are filled with seed beads. This particular one is filled with bits of glitter because I have lots of glitter, and then I have bits of glitter. Little glitter goes a long way, but these work perfectly, and they stay all together in this container. So this would be perfect for beads. So look for something like this. One of your big box stores might have them, but I would think more your independent craft stores, especially like your bead shops, would have an organizer like this, and that would work perfect. So I hope that answers your question. And it would be perfect for the diamond dots, which is something that I have not gotten into. I have bought that for my grandkids to do, but not myself. I have enough. Well, good. I'm glad it was a help. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to decoupage on jars. And, I love mason jars. I use them in my studio. I have ribbons in them. I have buttons in them. I have all sorts of things in them. And I like them to decoupage, but if you're decoupaging on a mason jar, you do have the writing, which is great. Like I think in the summer issue, which just came out, I think it's in the summer issue, I did mason jars painted and distressed over the writing, which is beautiful. But for this particular project, I wanted to use regular jars, and this is a pickle jar, so it does have some of the raised edges, which is cool, but it doesn't have the writing, and that's what I was going for. So I save a lot of my jars. Like, you guys don't know that, right? I mean, of course I do. So I save them if the labels come off easily. I will not spend a half hour scrubbing a label off. I will see if they're coming off. I'll put them in my dishwasher, and if it's just a little tiny bit left, I save the jar. If it's something I have to sit and work at, that's not worth it for me. So, or you can buy jars like this. I love this square jar. And this was at a dollar store. It comes with a lid. So if you were going to decoupage on this, you could have the lid, put a knob on the lid and put whatever you wanted, like cotton swabs or whatever, and have something decorative to hold some of your items. This is a cherry jar. And this, the label came off perfect. It came right off. I was happy about that because this is a great size jar. So you need jars. And when you have jars after you wash them and clean them, some people say to use like alcohol to clean them off. But I feel like if I've had it in the dishwasher and it's been on that high heat, I'm good. I do not clean them with alcohol. It would take off any of the smudges, but I usually use them right away. So that's what you need. And then, of course, you're going to want beautiful napkins. So where do I get my napkins? I get them everywhere and anywhere I can find them. I know this particular napkin, which I love, I got at the dollar store, but it was like 5 years ago when they had pretty napkins. Now they have napkins that are so-so. But this one I love. And when they're inside a napkin pack, you can see the front and the back. So you never know how that pattern looks until you buy the package and get it home. So this one has the same idea on all 4 panels. So you could get 4 ideas if you're doing something small or a couple jars, depending upon the size. This one is beautiful. This one I got at a restaurant supply store. I have one of those about 20 miles from me. And they carry a beautiful selection of napkins. And I love anything with the writing on it. That just is something I love. So this napkin is the same on these 2 sides and these 2 sides, but it isn't like definite squares. So this is perfect for a jar because you could wrap this entire thing. And I have these napkins. I'll show you. I have them torn apart so you can see. And I'll show that to you. This is the napkin I used. Bonnie can't believe they make such beautiful napkins. I know, they are gorgeous. So most napkins come 2 or 3 ply. So you need to get down to the 1 ply. And sometimes you can get that first ply off just by playing with the corner. And because I'm live, it's not going to play nice. But sometimes you can get that first ply off that way. Some people lick their fingers. That has never worked well for me. But when you take the ply off, don't just rip it because you can rip the decorative part of the napkin. So I take my time and pull it off. Now, this you can keep and you can use. If you want something just white, if you're doing layers of napkin, there's lots of things you can do with this. But one of my favorite things is to take this and iron it flat. and then iron it onto a piece of freezer paper that is cut 8.5 by 11 to go into my printer. So you can iron it right onto the freezer paper, and that gives it stiffness. And then you can print off your own designs, your own words, whatever you want onto this, because this will then peel right off the freezer paper, and then you have your own design. So don't necessarily throw these away. If you don't want to do any printing on your own and you don't want to use these, save these to wipe up your messes. I mean, don't just throw them away. So now with this, I still have 2 plies. This I have more of a difficult time getting off. So some people lick their fingers and they'll do this and they'll pull apart. Has never, ever worked for me. So you can use washi tape, or you can use painter's tape or purple tape, or you can use just Scotch tape. If you're going to use Scotch tape, kind of dull it by tapping it on your clothing. That takes some of the tackiness away so it doesn't rip your paper. And I'll go in the very corner with the 2 of them, press them together, and then pull. And there you go. So then after I get it started, I'll take the tape off so I'm not going to rip my napkin. This is the most tedious part of the napkins. So then you can take right there in that corner. I know I need to get that. And the reason why you take all the layers off, if you're decoupaging and you have this second layer on there and you apply it to your jar, this top layer might just come off, you know, so it's best to just work with the 1 ply, and then you should have good results every time. Again, I pull gently to take these apart. I don't want to rip anything. And if you do rip something and you're doing the decoupage, you can always cover up that hole with another piece of napkin, or even the napkin you took off. And it's not that noticeable. So unless you have a giant rip, then it is. So that's where you get the 1 ply. Now this napkin is interesting. This I got at a department store. And what I love about this is it repeats the pattern across here and here, which is very cool. So then I get the 3 flowers on each end. So there's that one. I want to show you the other ones because I have them all ripped, and I just want to show you what they look like. I already showed you what the butterflies look like. They're the same. And this one, which is stunning. And then this napkin, which was a cocktail napkin also. So this one has an all over endless pattern. There is no sectioning off. So this one is perfect for doing decoupage because it is like a seamless pattern. And the cool part about it is when you buy your napkins, like I said, you don't know what you're getting because you can't open that package up, right? So it's always just a bit of a surprise when you get an all over pattern like that. But I think these are one of my favorites. This one, again, is kind of like an all over pattern. They took and turned it a little bit. But this is an all over pattern, but then you have this gold where it was folded just on one corner. Here's another all over pattern. So it's fun to see what they look like when you get them open. Now, this one is very cool because you have the 4 birds, but then you have them going facing each other. So that's kind of cool too. So if you love napkins, you never know what you're going to get when you're buying them. I'm going to put my craft sheet down. Isabel, I sometimes find the second sheet has a lovely ghost image. Yes, it does. Let me show you. So here is the second sheet from this. So this was the first image. The second layer does have that ghost image of those flowers, which is beautiful in and of itself. And then the third layer was more the solid white, which you could print on. You could print on this. If you didn't want to print with your printer, you could stamp on this like Lisa does. So there's so many things you can do. She does that on her mulberry paper. But regardless, napkins are beautiful and fun to work with. So after I get the napkin pulled apart, I will take some chalk paint. You can use acrylic paint, but I think chalk paint has a little bit more of a tooth. And I will take and paint just one layer on my jar, and I will let it dry. I'll let it dry at least an hour. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I'll take my heat tool and dry it. But I want it to dry so that when I'm putting the Mod Podge on, this doesn't come up, which can happen. And this jar, actually, the label came off instantly too. This jar was horseradish. So I like glass jars. I always, my husband, yes, I am that person. I will look for glass jars when I'm shopping, and I will look for certain kinds of cans. So for my crafting, after you eat the food, you can recycle. But you can use chalk paint or acrylic paint, but you want to give it a coat just so it has a tooth, because the Mod Podge, if you put it on, let me show you. So I'm just using Mod Podge matte. Shake it up a little. And if you are going to use it on your jar directly, sometimes, of course, it's not going to do it now, but sometimes it will not do a good coverage. Like there'll be little open areas. I don't know if you can see right there. Right there you can see. So that's why I give it the coat of paint. Plus, it makes the napkin, the colors more vibrant. If you go directly on the glass, besides the open areas, and you keep going over them, it's not as vibrant. So just depending upon the look you're going for. So then I'm going to, this is the jar that I'm going to show you. And This pattern is pretty big. I'm not sure if I want this pattern on here because I'll lose some of that. I think maybe for this one, I will do one of the all over prints. Or the butterflies. I think I'll do the butterflies if it's enough to go around. Okay, so to prepare my napkin, you could just cut it with a scissor, but I find it's better if I take a little bit of water and a brush, and I'm going to use half of this napkin. So I'm just going to go right along that crease and just put some of that water, because then you're able to tear your napkin easily, and a torn edge looks just a little bit nicer. So you can tear it. I want you to be able to see it. I think if it's down, you can't see it as well. Maybe you can there. So that way you can tear it without ruining the napkin. And that torn edge is beautiful. So I'm going to set this one aside to dry. And then, knowing that I have a little bit extra down here and here, I'm going to go ahead and feather and tear all the way around the napkin. Sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. But I'm just going to add a little bit. And at the bottom, it doesn't matter because that goes on the bottom part of your glass jar. But I just think then you can just go in, you can tear just with your finger too. Like that. This is optional. It's something I like to do just because, especially like you don't have that hard crease from the straight edge. It just kind of feathers into the jar or the piece of wood, whatever you're decoupaging on. And it kind of blends into the background of what you have or are applying this to. So, and it's quick and easy to do. But if you don't have that hard edge, I just think it's nicer. So I have that ready, and I'll move my water out of the way so it doesn't get on anywhere. And then I'm going to grab my jar, and I am going to grab my, I use jelly wraps. They're kind of plastic. But the reason I bought these is because they're convenient when I'm teaching. But you can use a paper, a plastic bag. A plastic bag will help when you're doing decoupage, and I'll show you how. So you're going to take and apply your decoupage onto your glass. And you can put it on fairly thick and then thin it out as you're going. And I'm going to do about half of this jar. And then I'm going to set my jar down onto my napkin. I'm just going to set it down. There's a little bit of napkin on either side, and then I'm going to kind of roll it. And then I'm going to take my deli wrap or plastic bag and rub over it. This helps for less wrinkles, but it also helps if you're touching it with your fingers as you're touching it, because you have that decoupage glue on there, it's going to start lifting up. And you don't want it lifting up away from the glass. This is just an easy way to be able to touch it and not ruin it. And you can see there aren't a lot of wrinkles. I mean, there are wrinkles in decoupage, nothing you can do about that. That is part of the beauty. But if you can cause less wrinkles, I'm all about that. So now I'll put my fingers inside the jar and I'll pull this back just a little. And I'll continue adding my decoupage in small sections all the way around. So I'm not going to do another half of the jar. I'm just going to, and you notice I haven't done the rim yet. I'll do the rim at the end. So then I'm going to take and place, let that gently fall in place. And then I'm going to take and use this wrap to put that in place. Now, if your wrap or plastic bag gets a lot of adhesive on there, turn it around, use the other side, and keep working or grab a new one. Now I'm going to add the last of my decoupage. I'm going to go ahead and come up, because I know this is going to come over that edge. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit on there. I don't want to add too much because I don't want to move it around. And then I'm going to take and flip my jar and put that in place. There you go. Isn't that cool? Now you have this excess left over. I'm going to let this dry. I will let this dry overnight or for 4 to 6 hours. I have one here where I have the edges, and this one I did part of the top edge, which you can totally do now or after. But the reason I let it dry overnight is if I put wet decoupage right on top, sometimes it moves the napkin, and I don't want that. Now I have this torn edge, and I can go ahead and wrap that, but I don't want to cover up that flower. So I'm going to take a little bit of my water and apply to that napkin to help tear that. So I want that flower showing. So now I will take my decoupage and put that over Might need a little bit more because this is a little larger. Put that little bit of decoupage there. And then wrap that around. So you close it, but you can't, because napkins are so thin, you can't necessarily see where that seam is. And if it was a straight cut seam, you would definitely see the end of that flower. And I wanted this flower to show. So it just kind of feathers it and it just makes it nice. Now that this is totally dry, I would add my final layer of decoupage, because this isn't going to move. And giving it that final layer, it's protecting it and giving it, this is a matte finish. You can get a gloss if you want. The preference is totally yours. And it just protects that napkin to stay in place and from getting dirty. So you don't need to add a lot. You just want to do the entire thing. And then I'll come around the top edge. And the top edge, that's really kind of up to you if you want it all the way up to the edge, or if you want some of that chalk paint showing underneath. I don't mind some of the paint showing because I do it in kind of a white or a cream. Sometimes I'll use a color if the napkin kind of dictates it. But I don't mind that showing, because if too much of it is showing, maybe I would take a little sandpaper and sand it off to give it a distressed look, just depending. But you want to add that all the way around. And at the bottom, you can cover, like I paint the bottom, and I only generally cover to the edge. I don't cover this entire bottom. So I would just cover where I want it, and then I would take my wet brush after it's dry and trim the excess away. And in this area right here where there is no decoupage underneath, I would add the decoupage underneath to help hold that in place. And I don't mind going over it right there because it's at the very bottom. And I would let this dry, and then I would take the wet brush, like I said, and rip the rest of that away, so it would just leave this bottom. Same with the top. I'm going to take this and I would set it like this to dry until it's totally dry. And then once it's dry, see, here's my bottom. I just left that plain. And if I wanted to, if I wanted more of the white showing, I could paint right over some of that napkin, but I don't mind the way that looks. And then I just took some twine and tied around the rim. This is actually jute. I took some twine in purple and tied around here. I did not like the way it looked because there's jute actually here on the napkin in the picture. I thought the jute would look much better. Now you can use these for a vase with flowers, like in my picture, or you can use these however you want. Like it could be filled with paintbrushes, it could be whatever you want. If you want to use the lid, I would just decoupage all the way up to the rim. and leave this open so you can put the lid back on. Totally up to you. There's so many possibilities with decoupage, and you're limited only by the napkins you have and the jars or whatever product you are using to decoupage on. So I am going to switch my camera and see if there were any questions or comments that I can answer. And just let me switch this. There you go. I'll bring Lisa back in. There you go.
There I am.
You're a little blurry.
Am I?
Yeah. Not sure why. But okay, let me see. I know that she
Crazy.
Lisa grabbed some questions. I remember that one of the Bellicon workshops was on a crackle effect on decoupage. That effect would be amazing on the jars. Yes, Isabel, it would.
Yeah.
There are so many things you can do.
And I don't
And
remember who did that. Who taught that workshop?
I think it was Eileen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have to go back and look for sure. But yes, the crackle effect would be beautiful. But these, they're great. And it's free. I mean, napkins cost, well, napkins can cost $8 a package. But they can also cost $1.50 a package. So, and you usually get 20 to 50. I think Hobby Lobby has some of the most beautiful napkins, and then department stores.
Yeah.
Beautiful napkins. So you never know. I was surprised when we were in the restaurant supply store that I found so many. I found that bird one there too. So many that I like.
Becca loves that bird one. She's the bird girl. She likes birds.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. So, you know, but literally the jar was free. It's something I would have thrown away. This was had marinara sauce in it. And I used Mod Podge because I had it. But I have also used white craft glue mixed 50-50 with water. And it works. Yeah. So, and those, I mean,
that's white an old school hack.
literally cost under $1. And you can just make your own, and that works perfectly too. And then just whatever you trim it with. So yeah, they are beautiful. Thank you, Becca. And then I found pretty butterfly napkin I bought years ago. Peeled off 2 layers so it's ready for a jar. Yeah. Yeah, there are so many beautiful
centerpieces. Yeah.
Napkins out there that you can do. Would make beautiful centerpieces, yes. Jute is always a good addition. Yes, Christine, it is.
Yep.
I love my twine. I love jute. It just adds that little bit. Sometimes ribbon, for certain projects, ribbon is also the perfect thing to add. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the project. It was an easy project, but I love being able to just share because we do like to do all sorts of crafts. And Lisa is talking to her husband.
I am. I'm letting him know. We're still filming. I'm trying to do this. He went to the store and he just came back. I muted myself at first because I didn't want the puppy to go bonkers. And then you wouldn't be able to hear anything except for puppy barks. Look, there she is.
So, Lauralee, yes, napkins are so much fun. I'm glad you guys liked it. I get some beautiful project, TK Maxx. Okay. Isabel, I didn't know you guys had. Okay, so we have TK Maxx. You have TK Maxx. They do. That's why I said department store. That's what I meant. They do have beautiful, beautiful napkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is amazing. So, yeah, and napkins are fun to work with. So I'm glad you guys liked the project.
It was a great project. It really was. I loved it.
Wow.
Beautiful.
You know. So we have a winner from last week.
We do. Where is it? There it is.
You've made rice paper out of your napkins. That is a good use for it too. I have done that too.
Oh, Christine. Yeah, there you go.
Rice paper is so much fun.
Yeah.
Nordstrom Rack. Yep, they would have good ones too. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Ooh. The winner for last week is Lori Black.
Ooh, congratulations, Lori.
Yeah.
I don't think she's here today. But when you watch the replay, just message us and I will get a package sent out to you because we are sponsoring.
Yes.
The giveaway for this week.
Yes.
And I was thinking it would be we are sponsoring it, but also one of our sponsors are sponsoring it. I'm just sending it out. So it will be some brushes from Dynasty Brush.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yep, Lisa's frozen again. Oh, not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Thank you guys for joining us. We will be back next week with 2 more lives.
No, one more.
One more. Yeah. I will be the only one doing a live next week. Lisa will be traveling home.
Yes.
Or something.
And I think the following Wednesday after I get home for that live, I'm thinking about redoing this wreath the way I wanted to do it for that live. But we'll see. Because you've already seen it, so it may not be that big of a deal. But or I'll do resin. I want to do something with my resin. Oh my gosh. So, or that.
Thank you guys for joining us and congratulations, Lori. And if you have not gotten your copy of the summer issue, it should have came to your inbox if you are signed up. If not, make sure you go to our website, bellacraftspublishing.com, and say, yes, I want it. And it will sign you up and I'll give you the issue right there. And it is beautiful.
It is a beautiful issue.
So if you haven't signed up for it yet, make sure you do that.
Yes.
I thought you said there were 2 winners. Christine, there actually were not 2 winners. Lisa forgot that I had announced the winner for her beach bag.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and she's frozen again. But yes, there was one winner. So
I don't know what is going on with.
But thank you all for joining us. I will be back next week. And remember to take some time to craft.
Because it's good for your soul.
Okay.
It really is.